in the midst of spending so much money on Ultimate Team and sports games in general, I've been on and off searching for platinum trophies on a separate account. As you can see on screen, this is the account. This is going to be an account tour of the trophies I've got so far, trophies I want to get for the future, and just an overall idea of the account, because I think recently this has kind of been what I want to do as a main thing, as I've kind of given up playing sports games now. I have this unhealthy addiction where I'll buy the game within the first couple of months, spend a lot of money on points, and pretty quickly I will just give up and I won't play anymore. So without further ado, we're going to head over to the trophy log and we're just going to go through all of the games that we are currently playing. So if we start from the bottom, as it's in chronological order, the first platinum on the account was The Witcher 3. So the little caveat with this account also is this isn't just a platinum account in general. I like to get the 100% also. So if there's DLCs for a game, you better believe I will be playing the DLC. This isn't just the platinum trophies. So, The Witcher 3. For me, had to be the first game on the account because it's my favorite game of all time. There's not even a game that remotely comes into the same conversation. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of incredible and amazing games out there. But personally for me, I don't think any of them come close to what The Witcher 3 does for me personally. Then go the 100% on the base game and then obviously the DLCs. Just a quick touch on the DLC. The Blood of Wine for me has to be the greatest expansion I think any video game has ever seen. If they released that as a standalone game, I would have paid for it quite happily and played it and loved it. Like, I feel like they could have definitely done a full game just from that world. I think the world design in itself was sensational, and I think for this being my favorite game of all time, it was the most fitting option for the first platinum on the account. Second, Assassin's Creed Mirage. As you can see, as of recording this, there has just dropped a new DLC. The DLC's been out for like 2 to 3 days. I've not got around to it yet because I think I'm going to jump on the backlog bandwagon and make a video of kind of getting rid of some of the backlog on the account, as there's not too much, as my completion percentage is pretty high, as I do tend to do one game at a time before moving on, just so I can avoid having a pretty cluttered account. But there is a couple things I can backlog and top me back up to 100%, so we'll get through that at some point. But Mirage, I really enjoyed this game. I think, you know, it kind of went back to the classic Assassin's Creed that we know and love and that we're used to. It was a little bit on the short side. A lot of people said that it was originally planned for a DLC, which kind of makes sense with it being around a 25-hour platinum, which is not long at all if you then take into consideration like Valhalla, Odyssey Origins. Valhalla in itself is comfortably over 100 hours for the platinum. I don't think Odyssey is too far behind. So to have an AC game at a 25-hour plat was a kind of shock to the system, but either way, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm going to look forward to playing the DLC. Third on the game is The Last of Us Part 1. This speaks for itself. You know, it's been remastered God knows how many times now, but every time we buy it, we play it, we enjoy it. Platinum. I do feel like this is a little bit of a cop-out because I did the Last of Us Part 1, so like the PlayStation 5 remaster, so obviously no online trophies. Grounded is not a necessity. You don't have to complete the game on Grounded, so obviously you skip that trophy, which does make some of the older ones a little bit more difficult. But either way, the platinum is there. It's a game on the list, and another game that, you know, speaks for itself. You can't really go wrong. PlayStation have done a very, very good job over the last decade of just bringing us some incredible exclusive games. I think they've just been on an insane run, and obviously the next game on the list, they follows up from that with God of War 2018. God of War Ragnarok will get done at some point. It is a platinum on another account that I briefly had a stint with, so it's not a game I typically want to go around to now, as you know, it's still quite fresh in the mind and there's a lot of other games I would like to play. But again, an incredible PlayStation exclusive, you know, a franchise that everybody loves. Kratos, a fan favorite character that everyone really enjoys. Hopefully there's another one coming our way soon, who knows. No DLC for this one either, which with the God of War Ragnarok, there is a Valhalla DLC that I will have to tackle when I get around to doing that one. Modern Warfare Remastered. This to me is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it definitely sits on, especially FPS fans, their top games of all time. I think if you're an FPS fan, this has to be at least in your top 10. An absolute push, maybe top 5. Just an incredible game. Obviously, the online you don't really need to touch when it comes to the platinums, but the online in itself obviously kind of took the world by storm, especially with the original COD 4. It kind of blew up what Call of Duty is today in that sense. But yeah, you don't need to touch the online when you're playing for the platinum on this. It's just the campaign. Obviously, we have the infamous trophy, the Mile High Club, which you need to do on Veteran. I think that, and there is one more mission. I can't remember the name of the mission, but it's the one where you're in Bog and you have to protect your ally at the Ferris wheel. That was a struggle. That, and I'd say that was probably more difficult than the Mile High Club. A Mile High Club is just a strategy. You get the rhythm, you get an idea, and you just fly with it. And before you know it, it's a pretty clean run through. But once again, another platinum on the account, and you know, as a common theme you're seeing right now, for my first platinums, I was tend to platinum in games that, you know, are some of my favorites to ever play. I think it made sense for the core foundation of the account to be some of my favorite games of all time, because it's just a nice way to build up the account, in my opinion. So here we go. We come to our first, and I won't say only, because there's one other game on the account that's not a platinum, but I think that's just because it's a game I'm currently playing at the moment. But this is the only game on the account that isn't a platinum trophy, which is going to be a big slog for the cleanup video. And I think that solely goes down to, there's one mechanic in the game I hate, and it's no fast travel. Like, I really enjoy this game. I do enjoy it, but there's no fast travel in the game. And they've made it in a way to where you encounter enemies like every 30 seconds in the wild. So you not only have to traverse the entire map by foot, but then you always have to come up with like enemies, and it's like, I'm just trying to get across the map. Like, I don't want to be fighting enemies all the time. So I just kind of hit a brick wall with the game, and I'm at a point in the game also where I'm at a point of no return, so I need to actually go and clean up the rest of the game before I can follow up with the rest of the story. Next game on the list, Mafia Definitive Edition. Mafia, once again, this is what a remaster should do. I think when a lot of games like get remastered and developers look at remastering a game, I think they should all go to Mafia as the like quintessential benchmark, because I think the way this game was remastered is truly what a remaster should do and should be. It's in every way, shape or form just an upgrade on the original game, although in theory nothing has technically changed. Just an incredible game. Mafia 2 I do want to get to at some point, but there is a DLC trophy in that game that is arguably the worst trophy I've ever come across. And then obviously Mafia 3 is infamously a very, very buggy game for trophies, but it would be nice to have the trilogy, and then obviously with Mafia Old Country coming out not too long ago, to have that on the list as well, it would be just a nice feat to have the entire Mafia collection. But again, another game I thoroughly enjoyed playing. No DLC, just a straight up remaster. And, you know, a game that I would comfortably go back and play. Now, on the account, I would say probably the first platinum that I didn't thoroughly enjoy, and that's Star Wars Outlaws. I think there was a lot of hype and there was a lot of potential and a lot of anticipation for this, because it was like the first true open world Star Wars game. But I just think Ubisoft were not on a very good run at the time, and I think with this game they dropped the ball a little. They just let a lot of players down, and a lot of Star Wars fans down for sure, because I feel like the story wasn't as impactful or in-depth as it could have been. And I also think that just the game itself, the rendering was poor, graphically the game was pretty poor, so as a whole it just wasn't a true fun experience. And then obviously 2 DLCs, as I got the season pass, we were kind of just ticking them off as and when they came out, which was not too difficult. It was simply just completing the DLC. Next on the list, Battlefield 2042. My god, this game caused me hell. This game made me quit trophy hunting. As you can see, I was unlocking trophies, let's say here, on the 18th of February 2025. Next platinum on the list was college football. I got the college football platinum on the 16th of October. That is absurd. And I'll tell you why this happened. It's because there was one trophy that just completely bugged on me. So I got every trophy done. And obviously, don't get me wrong, this game is a bit of a grind. It's like, it would have been around an 80-hour platinum, but it's now sat about 110 hours because of this stupid trophy. But it was essentially for getting T1 Mastery Badge on any vehicle. So this one here, this is the exact trophy that caused me pain. So this trophy, I completed the requirements and it just didn't pop. And I did everything I possibly could to try and get this trophy to pop, and it just wouldn't. Just weeks and weeks of looking for things on Reddit and just forum posts to see if anyone had come up with a solution. And there was just nothing. So eventually I just gave up until, on an off chance, a friend messaged me and said he'd seen something that he thinks I should try. So I came back from my stint of playing my sports games, as I do, and essentially to get this one trophy I had to unlink my PlayStation account to my EA account and then log in with a new one. So like relink it with a different EA account almost, so it would essentially reset me back to level 1, so that in theory I wouldn't have completed the requirements to get this trophy done. And long story short, it actually worked. Yes, I had to grind the entire trophy again, which was like a good 15 to 20 hours of my time, but I finally got the platinum trophy, and then that just invigorated me. It absolutely just set me to the heavens, and I think from there on I've kind of just been on a mission, and every trophy I've unlocked since that one has been not too long ago. It's been in the last probably 2 months, which then put us into the next game, College Football 26. You know, as I was saying earlier, I like to play sports games, and if a sports game has a trophy list that's a little bit more catered towards a solo player, which a lot of them aren't. A lot of them you have to rely on like co-op, or like if you have access to people you can play with. And it's the same across the board for a lot of games, not just sports games. A lot of games have trophies that require you to have extra players, and you know, as a solo player I don't really have that luxury. So there are some games that I physically cannot platinum because, you know, I just don't have people to play with, which is a shame. And hopefully, you know, never know, like down the line I could find some people in the community that could help me, and we build a little community together and we can help each other get some platinums for, you know, solo players for games that we couldn't necessarily play. And this was a pretty straightforward one. It's 0.1%, but I think, you know, with sports games there's such a big player base and not many of them are actual, you know, platinum hunters. A lot of people just play these for Ultimate Team or, you know, franchise mode, career modes, that such a thing. But this game was thoroughly enjoyable. I enjoyed myself. You know, the game's fun. You didn't have to play any Ultimate Team even for the platinum. It was just all mainly offline, and then online you just had to win a few games, which was not difficult considering, you know, you was in the like lowest division when you had to get promoted. That's all you had to do. So, you know, in itself that wasn't a difficult platinum whatsoever. Next on the list, Alan Wake 2. This game took me a while. I started this game and I kept putting it off. I kept playing other games because I am one of the worst people for horror games. I can't play them. They make me really nervous and just really jittery, and, you know, my heart starts pounding. And especially with Alan Wake, this game does such an incredible job of, even if nothing is actively going on, it just keeps you so on edge. Like, it does such a good job at building tension and suspense, even though there's absolutely nothing to be like scared of. There's like no enemies, there's no combat, you're literally just going around. But the audio and just the way it makes itself is so well done, and, you know, for that reason I think is why I enjoyed it. But obviously it took me a while. The DLCs as well are really fun, albeit I did speedrun a couple of them just for the sake of, you know, getting the 100%, because I think once you get the platinum, you know, it just doesn't look right having a platinum trophy and it's saying like 72%. Then you have to get the DLCs done as well. But yeah, this is a game I really enjoyed, and, you know, one day we'll go back to another horror game. I think I might save myself, because Resident Evils, you know, I've never really played, and I think they would be some really fun plots. I think at the moment Resident Evils are gaining a lot of popularity in the like trophy hunting world, especially for their like difficulty based trophies as well, and their speedrun ones. So yeah, we'll maybe go to a horror game at some point. But for now, I'm quite content with what I'm doing. Next game on the list, F1 Manager 2024. Another game, you know, another sports game, very, very simple. Literally, this game, obviously, with it being a simulator, everything is done just from simming. You can get the vast majority of the trophies on this game done by not even actually, like, physically being involved in the race, and, like, you can just, like, instant sim, if you call it, like, instant sim to the end, and if you, as long as you pick some of the better teams and drivers in the game, you can pretty much get most of the things done. I think if you are an avid Formula 1 fan, this is an incredible game outside of the Platinum. Just how much depth the game has got for a simulator, especially a console simulator, is really, really good. As you compare, the only really other big one we've got is Football Manager. And obviously, Football Manager is been going around for the longest time, and especially in the last couple of years, has obviously not been received too well. And I'm not too sure about this game, because I did hear that 2025 did get cancelled. So who knows if we'll get a 26, or maybe if this was just, you know, the only game. But either way, the Platinum's on the list, and it was a game I enjoyed and a game I would be happy to play outside of the Platinum. Dragon Age Veilguard. This is a game I actually really did enjoy. I didn't play it on release. I did buy it very, very early into its release cycle, and it took me a long, long time to just click on the game. I fall into the trap of buying a lot of games on sale at release, but then because I've got so many games backlogged, I struggle to know which game to play. So I just end up sitting on so many games, which is a bit frustrating, because at the time of me platinum in this game, it was in the EA Play Pass. So, you know, I just kind of wasted £70 when I could have played it for free. But either way, a game I did enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Inquisition, which is a game that sits in my top 5 of all time. So I think that is a game I would like to go back and platinum at some point. And it's got, I think, 2 big DLCs as well. So look out for that one, especially because, I mean, that game's got a nightmare trophy, I'm pretty sure, for the difficulty, which caused me a lot of problems when I did the 100% on Xbox a long time ago. But yeah, we'll have to get that on PlayStation. But this game, yeah, it wasn't as good. I don't think the writing was as good. The narrative, I don't think, was as in-depth as I would want it to. And obviously for certain reasons or another on release, it did get a lot of backlash, but, you know, we won't get into that, as, you know, we try to be as neutral as possible over here. Following on from Battlefield 2042, with me being a Battlefield fan, Battlefield 6 launched, and this game was an enjoyable one, but oh my, this is up there. I think this might be, we don't count 2042s because it was a glitch trophy. It wasn't technically, you know, the actual trophy itself. It was just an issue with the game. But I think on my list so far, this game absolutely has the worst trophy list I've seen so far, or I've experienced to get to 100%. So the base game wasn't terrible, but there was one trophy for getting 2,000 revives, or there or thereabouts, like almost 2,000 revives. There it is, 1,996 revives online. And everyone thought, wow, okay, that's a lot. And it wasn't too bad. There are ways to get this done real fast. I think there was certain maps you could play, especially for me. There was a certain map I would play, and all I would do is revive. Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. My KD got destroyed. Your teammates were not too impressed because I wasn't really getting any kills. I was just going 0 and whatever many deaths. But I was getting around 100 revives a game, so you really, really can fly through that. And everyone thought, okay, that's enough. You know, that's the trophy that you really send us into pain. But then Red Set came out. And Red Set this might be one of the most out of touch trophy lists from a developer I've seen. So the worst ones for me personally were, if you play 125 rounds of Gauntlet, it's not terrible because, I mean, you just got to play games. Yeah, it's a little bit long-winded, but it's these two here. Stunning 316 enemies. Yes, Stone Cold Steve Austin reference. Took a while, but then the worst one is this one. Hands down, reviving 1,988 teammates in Battle Royale. Like, to get one revive in Battle Royale is a very RNG, depending if your teammate goes down. But if you're playing with good teammates, there is not even sometimes a potential to get a one revive in a game. Never mind, like, almost 2,000. Even in Gauntlet, on the best of times, like on an absolutely incredible game of Gauntlet, you might get 10 or 15. So, like, this was just, it was such a ridiculous trophy. I think it didn't need to be in the game, and obviously now they're adding that, it makes us feel like, is season 2 going to be similar? Is every season that gets released, are they just going to play around with the community and just keep releasing revive trophies? Who knows? But apart from that, the game is really, really good. I think Battlefield this year is very much back, with Battlefield 2042 obviously being quite a disappointing and letdown game. I think Battlefield 6 is definitely an enjoyable experience, and you know, I think it's going to have quite a lot of longevity within its cycle. The Outer Worlds. Now, with being a PlayStation player, Xbox games have only just recently transitioned over. Obviously, one of them being the Outer Worlds, an Xbox exclusive initially, but the Outer Worlds 2 recently dropping also, so that's a game I definitely want to go and play. This game was just, I loved it. It was incredible. I've never played Fallout. I think, you know, you're gonna come to learn a lot of terrible things about me as a gamer for sure. And one of these really bad things is I've never played a Bethesda game. So Skyrim I've never played, so watch out for that. Fallouts I've never played. And I think from this, and obviously watching a lot of Fallout videos, it did give me Fallout vibes. It's very much that style of game. So maybe it was a good introduction for me to when I actually go to play Fallout. But either way, I enjoyed it. You know, it was a good game. You can complete this game real fast. I think for the Supernova trophy, which is the hardest difficulty in the game, I followed a speed run where I complete the game in around 25 minutes without even killing anyone. It was a pacifist run at the same time, which is definitely interesting. I think that's the unique thing about this game, is how you can play in so many different ways, and the developers literally give you the freedom to kind of do whatever you want within reason. And the DLCs were really fun as well. This one, The Murder in Eridinos, I really enjoyed this one. It was, you kind of feel like a detective. You have to solve a murder, a little bit like a futuristic LA Noire, if so. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to playing Outer Worlds 2. I think that's going to be a good game. Hopefully it's a little bit longer. I feel like this game just lacks length a little bit. I think sometimes you get so into a game, but before you know it, the game's finished. I think that's sometimes my only letdown with especially some open world games that are on the shorter side. My last platinum trophy to unlock on this account is Moto GP 25, another sports game. I am a sports fanatic. I am into many sports games and just sports in general. And obviously Moto GP being the latest installment to the platinum list. This is only because it's on the Game Pass at the moment. It's recently got added to the Game Pass, so I thought, why not jump on? The trophy list is pretty straightforward. You just got to win a bunch of races, just get on the podium a few times online. It's nothing too difficult. It's nothing too time consuming. Yes, a little bit of a grind, but it's not a difficult grind whatsoever. It's something you can kind of just get on with and enjoy yourself. And even then, I do think the game is quite fun, even if you're not going for platinum. If you just want like a realistic experience for MotoGP, if, you know, that's the sport that you're into. The final game on the list, which is obviously going to be part of the cleanup video that I'm going to work on, is Stray. And this is also a game on the Game Pass right now. I think, you know, with the Game Pass, you kind of got to make the most of it. You know, you don't pay for a lot of the games on there. And they do take them out, as I literally found out yesterday with The Witcher 3. So I re-downloaded The Witcher. Well, I went to re-download it, but I couldn't. Is because in August, they took it out of the Game Pass. So I had to buy it on this Black Friday sale, which I'm not against because, like I said earlier, it's my favourite game of all time, but it's just a little bit of a shock how, you know, they would take it out. But yeah, Stray, there's only a couple trophies left for this game. I think it's the speed run under 2 hours, you know, the sleeping, and then there's another one for completing a level in like a certain way. So yeah, this is not going to take me too long, but obviously you'll see that in a cleanup video coming soon, hopefully. But this is the list. I think for now, it's quite a small list. There's not too many platinums on there, but as you can see, I'm a player that's not going to play shovelware games. You know, My Name is Mayo, anything like that. I'm not going to play some types of games like tape games. I'm not against like Telltale games, especially if they're really good ones, because it's not just about the platinum, it's also about enjoying the game, which is another one of my main factors. Is I want to be able to platinum games that I actually want to play. Like, if you took away the platinum, would I still play that game? And that's the kind of vibe I'm going for currently. because I think that's what I want to cherish the most with this list. Is I want the list to, number one, be a list of games that I actually genuinely want to play and complete, and then two, just a really good platinum list. Obviously, it would be nice to get some difficult games on this list at some point, like Sekiro, Elden Ring, games like this, which I've also never played. Them types of games, for like Souls-like games, are games I've never played. There's a lot of potential and a lot of things and that I can do towards this account, but I think as a core foundation, just to get the account up and running, it was, for me, an important factor to just play games I enjoyed and to play games that I'd actually want to play. And, you know, the account and the list has shown that. So I think now we can kind of expand, and, you know, with so many games on the list that I want to play, there are so many things that we can do, and, you know, going forward, so many challenges and ideas that I'm really looking forward to. But, you know, this was just an introduction video into my account, kind of what I wanted to do, just explain myself, and hopefully it'll be the first video of many to the account, and hopefully we'll get some streams up and running as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Obviously, you're going to be new, as this is the first video on the channel, and hopefully we can build a really good community together. My name's Trapeyum. Been a pleasure talking to you, and I'll see you in the next video.